Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ad Talk with me on Wednesdays. We're starting about an hour early today, but I think most of you guys watch the replay anyway. So we've all survived Prime Day. That's kind of what I wanted to go into first is everybody taking a breath. We're out of Prime Day, and now we are in the back end of that, trying to figure out what we do in this kind of downtime. So I consider this to be non-peak for everyone essentially outside of back to school supplies and essentials like that. So, what can you do right now in this kind of down period to keep yourself busy, improve your account, and then look forward to sell more as things start to pick up? The few days after Prime Day are generally pretty poor conversion, slower traffic. It's really what we see a lot of the time. Most people have spent a majority of their budgets last week on what they wanted to get, and they're getting all their packages end of last week, beginning of this week. Returns could be starting. If you did well on Prime Day, probably expect some of those returns to come in and process those appropriately. Reminder, just make sure that you guys have your automatic email set to request reviews. Make sure that that's in line with Amazon's terms of service, so you're not getting flagged for any of those things. But today we're going to talk about what you can do in the meantime to get ready for the end of Q3, beginning of Q4. You can really put in the legwork this week since things are a little bit slower. So we're going to talk about CTR improvement. So click-through rate has become a hot topic these days. Click-through rate's always been important, but we're seeing more improvements in organic rankings and ad performance when the click-through rate is higher. So what can you do to improve your click-through rate? So first thing you can do is optimize your listings. Now I'm ads focused, but optimizing listings goes hand in hand with the way that ads perform. The main images on these product detail pages are the first thing that people are going to see in terms of the ads in search placements. So that's what we really want to make sure is your excuse me, your image pops. It conveys everything about the benefits that you can while staying within Amazon terms of service for your products. So make sure that you are optimizing those appropriately. Make sure you're taking up as much space as you possibly can. And of course, there's all these little add-ins there as well. So the other thing you can look at besides high quality images, compelling titles. Make sure that you've done a quick round of keyword research. So always good to do a refresh of keyword research to see what's gaining and what's dropping. So you probably have a good idea if you have an established product of what keywords work for you, but it's good to keep a pulse on the search volume for those products. So if you see search volume go down for one term and up for another, maybe swap those out and see if you can get some improvement there. Making sure your product titles are clear, concise, and they include your most relevant keywords with the highest search volume. So you don't want to be misleading and throw keywords in there just to keyword stuff or get some more search volume because your click-through rate will essentially go down anyway. So be careful with that. Detailed descriptions, make sure you're providing thorough product detailed descriptions. Make sure that your A+ content is updated and it's exactly the way that you want it to be. It should be, again, clear, concise. If you have something that includes steps that need to be taken to use this product, include it there and make sure that it's not just a fancy selling of big words. Make sure that it's actual information for the consumer that's more authentic to the customer. Leverage sponsored product ads. This is where we get into the good stuff. So the keyword research that you had done for your product listings to optimize those, you want to talk about targeting relevant keywords. So you can use brand analytics. You can use the search query performance report, either by brand or by ASIN. You can use other outside tools to do your keyword research as well. Amazon's data is good. I will tell you, it is frustrating that the SQP report that the purchases is only same-day purchases. I will tell you that I find to be more frustrating than anything because I'm sure that there's some in there, obviously, that aren't getting counted. But what I think that you can do with that is if you're getting a lot of same-day purchases on a keyword, you can have more confidence in knowing that that is a good keyword for your product. So make sure that you're looking at those, checking them out, see if last week's came out. I hadn't checked it yet this morning, but I was going to check last week's for our clients here at Databril and look for those and see what kind of insights I could get in terms of same-day purchases and click-throughs and add to carts there. You do want to adjust your bids strategically right now. So you've probably pulled back your bids and your budgets. Makes total sense after Prime Day because we're seeing that slower traffic, that poor conversion rate. Now's the time where you can kind of amp those up a little bit more and you can start pushing again as people get back into just normal shopping habits. The other thing to do right now, kind of in your quote unquote downtime, is to look at negative keywords. So look at the search terms in auto campaigns, broad campaigns, phrase campaigns, make sure that you have your negative terms in there. A big place to look for this now is sponsored brands. So sponsored brands is not running their broad and phrase match the exact same as they do in sponsored products. Make sure you're double checking those, because we're seeing a lot of keywords missing and going for more brand awareness and relation than anything else. So if you're looking to control your spend, make sure that you are looking at that very carefully with your negative keywords. I'll probably do a negative keyword video maybe in the next couple of weeks. That'll be a topic that I'll cover of how I do negative keywords. So that can be another one that we can get into. Now's also a decent time to A and B test your ads. So you can test different ad creatives in there. There's the carousel, there's videos. You can, update those ad creatives, see if you can get a better click-through rate on those where you can improve or where you can include creatives. Experiment with different images, different headlines. One key that I always use with the headlines is I try to at least make the headline relevant for the keyword that's being searched. So sponsored brands, for me, I always try to group them in terms of keywords by theme, so that the keywords that they're targeting are all very similar, and I can include that in the descript or in the headline, so they can make that connection right away that, oh yes, I should look at this because that's the keyword that I just searched. So that's good. Monitor performance and metrics. We really want to track CTR, so click-through rate, over the next few weeks. Don't expect them to change overnight, but you want to get those impressions in and get that data in. You can use a couple different ways to track your metrics. Some people do it manually. Some of them are using other outside softwares. It's totally up to you, as long as you're staying on top of it. That's really, really the biggest thing. And this one also, refine and repeat. So look at what worked previously, see if it works again, do your testing, put in the work. It's really around, like, right now is a good time to outline where you were, where you want to go, and how you kind of get there for the end of Q3 and beginning of Q4. One of the biggest things with this is making sure that you are doing that keyword research to ensure you know where those search terms are, quarter over quarter, and how you're seeing that trend. If you're seeing a keyword drop off, see if there's another one that can go into its place. If the whole category is kind of dropping, that's kind of what it is, but you need to then make sure that your CTR and your click-through rate, that you're only on the really relevant keywords and you're targeting those so your click-through rate is higher, rather than trying to be everywhere at once. I see a lot of clients, even with limited budgets, trying to be everywhere. They want as many impressions as they can because they think it'll lead to more sales. But when they start getting on less than relevant or not very specific keywords, that's where they start to see an issue. So they see that CTR go down, why are my sales dropping? What's going on with this? Don't go after keywords that aren't totally appropriate for you. So that is my advice for kind of down week this week. But we will see you next week. And please let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions. I'll go ahead and give those a check and see if I can address anything there. And if you guys have any topics that you want me to cover, any questions that you have, please feel free to let me know, and we can see if we can get that on the agenda. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.